When America wants something gone, it disappears. And the Javelin? That's the eraser. One lock, one launch, one tank reduced to a flaming memory. Because US firepower doesn't negotiate, it annihilates. 112 missiles fired, 100 hits confirmed. That's an 89% kill rate in actual combat, not on a test range, not in simulations, but in the chaos of war where Russian tanks were actively evading, maneuvering, and deploying countermeasures, and that was just the first wave in Ukraine. The FGM-148 Javelin doesn't just destroy tanks. It erases the concept that infantry are defenseless against armor. Soldiers carrying this weapon have a saying that's become almost legendary. If it locks, it hits. And the combat data from Ukraine, Iraq, and Afghanistan proves they're not exaggerating. With manufacturer-reported hit probabilities reaching 94% in operational use, the Javelin has fundamentally changed the mathematics of armored warfare. Let me show you why this shoulder-fired missile terrifies every tank crew on the planet, and how it achieves kill rates that make it one of the most reliable weapon systems ever deployed. The foundation of the Javelin's lethality starts with something deceptively simple: fire and forget capability. Once the operator locks onto a target and launches, the missile guides itself. The soldier can immediately take cover, reposition, or engage another target while the first missile is still in flight. This is revolutionary compared to wire-guided systems like the M47 Dragon that required operators to remain exposed throughout the entire engagement, guiding the missile manually. The imaging infrared seeker operates in the 8 to 12 micron waveband, detecting heat signatures through smoke, dust, and darkness. It doesn't need laser designation. It doesn't require GPS coordinates. It sees the target's thermal image and tracks it autonomously, compensating for movement and adjusting trajectory in real time. The tandem warhead is fitted with two shaped charges: a precursor warhead to detonate explosive reactive armor, and a primary warhead to penetrate base armor. But here's where the Javelin becomes truly unstoppable: top attack mode. While most anti-tank weapons strike tanks from the front or sides where armor is thickest, often 500 to 800 millimeters of composite steel, the Javelin climbs to a peak altitude of 150 meters before plunging downward onto the tank's roof. And tank roof armor typically measures under 50 millimeters thick. The missile is attacking a target with 1/10 the armor protection, creating a vulnerability that no amount of frontal plating can defend against. The combat statistics from Ukraine validate everything the system was designed to do. In May 2022, the Pentagon reported that out of the first 112 Javelin missiles fired by Ukrainian forces, 100 struck their targets. That's an 89.2% success rate in the opening months of the war, a period characterized by brutal close-quarters fighting, electronic warfare jamming, and sophisticated Russian countermeasures. Lockheed Martin later reported a 94% hit probability in operational use across multiple theaters. By February 2023, Russia had lost approximately 50% of modern tanks, such as the T-72B3 and T-72B3M, with T-80 tank inventories depleted by 2/3. Not all of those kills were Javelins. Ukrainian forces also employed NLAWs, artillery, drones, and other systems. But the Javelin exacted a substantial portion of that devastation, with Ukrainian troops releasing videos showing reliable performance against Russia's most modern armor. The missile's effectiveness extends far beyond Ukraine. As of 2019, the Javelin system had been used in around 5,000 successful engagements, mainly in Afghanistan and Iraq. United States Marines used Javelins to destroy 84 enemy vehicles in Fallujah during 2004 with 97% reliability. Australian Special Forces employed them throughout Operation Iraqi Freedom, and in every theater, the system performed with extraordinary consistency. Here's what makes those numbers even more remarkable. The Javelin costs approximately $176,000 per missile. Critics love pointing out that cost, arguing it's wasteful to fire a weapon that expensive at targets that might only cost a fraction of that amount. But when you're facing a Russian T-90 tank worth $3 million, crewed by 3 trained soldiers whose replacement takes years, firing a $176,000 missile that has a 94% chance of destroying that entire package becomes the most cost-effective decision a commander can make. The psychological impact on enemy armor crews cannot be overstated. Russian tankers know that Ukrainian infantry potentially carry Javelins. They know those missiles can strike from over 2,500 meters away, well beyond the effective range of most tank weapons against infantry. They know the missiles attack from above, where their armor is weakest. And they know that if the missile locks on, their chances of survival are minimal. This knowledge fundamentally changes how armor operates, forcing tanks to remain distant, avoid exposing themselves, and essentially surrender the tactical initiative to infantry forces. The lock-on before launch feature is critical to understanding why the Javelin achieves such high hit rates. The operator uses the command launch unit, a reusable thermal sight weighing 6.4 kilograms, to identify and lock onto targets before firing. The system won't launch until it confirms a solid lock. This means every missile fired has already acquired its target and verified tracking before leaving the tube. There are no speculative shots, no hoping the seeker finds something mid-flight. If the system locks, the engagement is essentially over before the missile launches. The soft launch mechanism adds another layer of lethality. The missile ejects from the launcher using a small launch motor, traveling about 10 meters before the main rocket motor ignites. This creates minimal backblast, allowing the Javelin to be fired from inside buildings, bunkers, or other enclosed positions without injuring the operator or revealing the launch position. Wire-guided systems like the Dragon required operators to remain exposed in open terrain throughout the engagement. The Javelin operator fires from cover, immediately relocates, and the enemy never knows where the shot originated. The system's two engagement modes, top attack and direct fire, provide tactical flexibility that older systems lacked. Top attack mode is for armored vehicles, climbing to 150 meters before striking downward. Direct fire mode is designed for buildings, bunkers, helicopters, and targets under overhead cover, flying at a peak altitude of just 50 meters. The FGM-148F variant introduced a multi-purpose warhead that doubles effectiveness against personnel through enhanced fragmentation, making it lethal against infantry positions, weapon crews, and lightly armored vehicles. Production is now ramping dramatically in response to Ukrainian demand. Lockheed Martin announced plans to nearly double Javelin production from 2,100 per year to just under 4,000 by 2026. Ukrainian officials estimated they were using up to 500 missiles per day in the early phases of the war, consumption rates that would deplete most weapon stockpiles within weeks. The United States has supplied over 10,000 Javelin systems to Ukraine as part of broader military assistance totaling over $66 billion. International demand has surged as nations recognize the system's combat-proven effectiveness. Over 25,000 successful engagements have been recorded globally since 2010. Australia, Bahrain, Czech Republic, Estonia, France, Georgia, Indonesia, Ireland, Jordan, Lithuania, New Zealand, Norway, Oman, Poland, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, and the United Kingdom all operate the Javelin. India is in discussions with the United States for co-production, recognizing the system's value for mountainous terrain along the line of actual control with China. The FGM-148 variant, designated Spiral 3, is currently under development with an uncooled imaging infrared seeker replacing the legacy gas-cooled version. This eliminates cryo-cooler components, enabling faster target acquisition and reducing logistical demands. The lightweight command launch unit reduces CLU weight by approximately 30%, from 6.3 kilograms to 4.5 kilograms, making the system even more portable for infantry operations. These upgrades maintain the fire-and-forget capability while extending the system's operational life through the 2050s. The Javelin's demonstrated range officially sits at 2,500 meters, though the United States military notes it has demonstrated performance to 4,000 meters in most operational conditions. That extended range means infantry can engage armor from positions tanks cannot effectively counterfire against. And with a flight speed of approximately 140 meters per second, the missile reaches maximum range targets in less than 30 seconds. Too fast for manual countermeasures, too quick for evasive maneuvering to succeed. The system's reliability under adverse conditions separates it from competitors. Surveys of United States soldiers who served in Iraq and Afghanistan found that 56 out of 58 rated the Javelin as reliable. It operates in extreme heat, extreme cold, rain, snow, dust storms, and high humidity. The imaging infrared seeker functions equally well during day or night, and the solid propellant rocket motor requires no pre-launch preparation. The missile is ready to fire from storage. Russian attempts to counter the Javelin have proven largely ineffective. Cage armor welded to tank turrets was supposed to defeat top attack missiles by detonating them prematurely, but the Javelin's proximity fuse triggers well above any cage structure, and the shaped charge's penetrating jet defeats reactive armor and primary armor in a single strike. Videos from Ukraine show Javelins destroying Russian tanks equipped with every defensive measure Russia could deploy, and the tanks still burn. The fundamental problem adversaries face is that the Javelin solves multiple tactical challenges simultaneously. It's man-portable, allowing infantry to carry serious anti-armor capability without vehicle support. It's fire and forget, enabling operators to survive engagements that would be suicidal with wire-guided systems. It attacks from above, negating the armor advantages tanks have spent decades developing. And it works with 94% reliability in actual combat, a hit rate that makes every engagement essentially a guaranteed kill. The FGM-148 Javelin represents something rare in weapons development, a system that performs better in combat than it did on the test range. A weapon that soldiers trust absolutely because it delivers on its promise every single time, and a technology that fundamentally altered the power balance between infantry and armor, proving that a single soldier with the right weapon can destroy a $3 million tank from 2 kilometers away and walk away undetected. Troops say it best: if it locks, it hits. And after 5,000 combat engagements across multiple continents with kill rates consistently above 89%, that's not confidence. That's statistical certainty. The Javelin doesn't just hit targets, it redefines what infantry can accomplish against armor, one guaranteed kill at a time.